Gaming is an expensive hobby. I mean, not so expensive we consider it a hobby of the elite or anything. But if you're gonna game, you're gonna be spending cashola. But there's expensive and there's extravagant. Too expensive, as they say. Maybe the hobby of the elite. Hi folks, it's Falcon. Join the 1% Club with the button below and get the Falcon Show exclusively every weekend. Today on Game Ranks, the 15 most expensive things in video games ever. Starting off at 15, the Neubauer Seneca First Edition mechanical keyboard. For the price of a down payment of a 2019 Lexus GS350, you can buy a keyboard. I can't justify saying it like a normal person if I'm going to talk about it that way. There has been a growing interest in premium keyboards among the more affluent computer touchers out there, but generally a nice mechanical keyboard is gonna run upwards of a couple $100 at most. Well, this thing, at its most expensive, sells for an eye-watering $8,900. It's also lacking many of the functionalities of a modern keyboard. Literally can't do as much as a cheapo keyboard from Walmart for $20, but I do admit it does look quite slick. Thousands of dollars, slick, but slick. It's got a titanium finish, and that's where a significant portion of this thing's price is coming from. With a standard finish, big air quotes, of course, it's only, again, big air quotes, $4,200. That titanium finish is what really brings you up to the old nearly $9,000 price. Currently, there's a wait list to even get one, which is how you know people are willing to spend too much money on keyboards. Also, if you want it, you have to fork over 10% of the cost just for the privilege of waiting 6 to 9 months to finally actually buy it. I'm not saying it is not a nice looking keyboard. It is actually, chef's kiss on this one. But for that kind of money, I'm expecting much more functionality. And I don't mean the functionality of the $20 Walmart keyboard. I mean, does it clean my house? Can I ride it to work? No? Anyway, these things are much less a functional piece of equipment and more a novelty item, of course. In fact, that's basically what we're covering on this list. These are luxury items that are more about prestige than actually being useful to anyone. If anything, the Neubauer Seneca is possibly the most useful thing on this list. It at least kind of serves a purpose, even if for that price it could be argued that it kind of counteracts its own usefulness, but still. Moving on to number 14, an engraved Ouya or Aoya or whatever. I don't really care how you're supposed to say this console's name. I never have, even when I thought it was maybe something that could have been cool. But, oh no, Ouya! See, back in the early 2010s, it was one of the most successful Kickstarter projects of all time. They were going to free the games. Gaming was, as you know, in shackles, and they were going to free it. With a slightly modified phone board and a digital-only service of shovelware games that failed to get very much attention at all, the Kickstarter was a huge success, but the console was a massive failure. The only positive thing I really have to say about it was at least they did make it, which puts it above the Intellivision Amico at least. Like with all Kickstarters, there were tiered pledge levels. The more you donated, the more incentives you would get in return. And at the very highest pledge, there was the mythological engraved Ouya. That could be yours at the low price of $10,000. A steal, really. The funny thing about pretty much every Kickstarter campaign I've researched is they all stop at $10,000. That's always the highest pledge level. Even the eternally money-consuming monster that is Star Citizen tapped out at $10,000 on their Kickstarter page. Usually you're paying for some kind of private access to the creator or a special night out with the game's staff or again creator like with Bloodstain or Shenmue 3. With Ouya, you got a special engraved system. At least you didn't have to cover your own travel expenses when all you're getting is a crappy console with your name etched on it. Looking at the way this pledge reward is described, I thought it was meant to be a big money backer. They'd get their own unique engraved Ouya, but no. Looking at some comments from users on Ouya World, the premier location for Ouya collectors worldwide, apparently they just engraved all the top level backers on first production run, shipped them out, so you don't even really get a custom system. You're just one name among many. 12 people backed Ouya at this level, and that means 12 people dumped at least $10,000 into this boondoggle. And those people include Minecraft creator Notch and Brian Fargo, the Fallout guy. Notch, at least, is very independently wealthy, so he can spend whatever he wants on junk like this, not even bat an eye. But I can't even imagine how devastated I would be to drop $10,000 on a new console product, and what I got for that money was an Ouya that had been engraved. And number 13 is the Verde Green Marble Arcade Cabinet. Getting into some weirder stuff now. Literally, no joke, a handcrafted arcade tablet made of marble. Perfect accent piece for your ancient Roman villa, or better yet, the ultimate gamer tombstone. If you want to buy this thing, it's going to cost you $24,820. And I'm sure a big part of the asking price comes from the marble. Green marble, not cheap. It's heavy as hell, and I cannot imagine how much it would cost to ship something like this. Just a day or two ago, this thing was actually on sale for like 20% off. If your arcade absolutely must stand the test of time, and by that I mean the literal elements, this is the cabinet to get. Most of them are made out of flimsy plywood or sheet metal. They obviously degrade, they fall apart, but this one's made of frickin' marble. It's absolutely absurd. I'm kind of glad it exists in a certain way. It's completely goddamn ridiculous, and I do hope somebody buys it because I actually like ridiculous stuff, but it's not going to be me, and it's probably not going to be you. And number 12 is the Arcadia by a French company called Halve Manufacturel. It's pretty rare to find an actually classy-looking luxury item related to gaming, but this arcade machine, designed by the creative director from Daft Punk, manages to actually have some of that retro wave old world style and incorporate it into a video game cabinet. It's not just a display piece either. It apparently has 520 classic arcade games on it. I'm wondering how comfortable it would actually be to play, considering how low it appears to be to the ground, but I've got to admit it wouldn't look out of place in an old money millionaire's study right next to their Humidor and first edition book collection. It looks rich only because somebody with an obscene amount of money would ever buy it. The thing cost the equivalent of $27,000 when it was released back in 2021. And there were only 12 ever made, so even getting one these days, that's an open question. With how they go, it's possibly gone up in price. But maybe it's lost value too. I don't really know. Whatever it is, it's going to be too rich for our blood. Moving on to number 11, the Acer Predator Thronos. While there is a more modern model that looks a lot less ridiculous, that sells for the much lower price of $13,000, called the Acer Thronos Air. How can I not talk about this absurd beast from 2019, which came equipped with a massive gaming chair, 3 monitors, and a 0G recline, whatever that means. All for the perfectly reasonable price of $29,000, the full price of a pretty reliable used car for the world's most ostentatious gaming chair. It doesn't even come with a PC to work all this crap, it's just a chair. The keyboard cage, the floating monitors, and the massive base make this thing take up 8 feet of floor space and weigh around 715 pounds. That's so stupid. And people complain about having to move their couches for the Kinect. Like, you're gonna have to rearrange your entire life around this monstrosity. In comparison, the Thronos Air looks practically reasonable by comparison. At least it's got an ultra-wide curved monitor instead of the hideous triple monitor setup like the Predator model. If you've ever wanted to pretend you're in the gunner pod of the Millennium Falcon, just cough up the 29 G's for this thing. Or actually, probably quite a bit less these days. I imagine anybody who bought this thing is feeling some pretty serious buyer's remorse by now. It's one of those luxury gaming items that's going to start appearing in driveways after the elderly gamer parents croak and nobody in their right mind would actually buy this thing. That's actually a pretty dark thought. And number 10 is the Legatus Pack. I know there's a certain amount of people who hear that and know immediately what I'm talking about. The most expensive IOU that money can buy, $48,000. And you get every ship ever released in Star Citizen so far with lifetime insurance, bonus ship paints, and personal equipment. Now that might sound absurd for what is essentially a bunch of ships that you can unlock for free in the game, but consider this. Most of the ships in the Legatus Pack don't exist and continue not to exist since the pack was made available for purchase in 2018. Despite all of Cloud Imperium's efforts, Star Citizen is a game you can actually play now. It's in perpetual alpha up, it doesn't function great. It's everything in the player's inventory turns into fire extinguishers, so everything's going great over there. They could probably use the fire extinguishers from the sounds. They've only made a fraction of the ships that they've got on sale, though. A lot of these ships are supposed to include special functions or ability that they've made big promises about. But it's an open question if they'll ever do any of the promised stuff when basic gameplay doesn't function great. So when you're spending $48,000 on ships, you're really just buying a promise, and it's a promise that's being made by the world's worst procrastinator, and I think that might be objective. I am not saying that purely because I want to be insulting. I think it's very possible that Cloud Imperium actually is the world's worst procrastinator. Like, it's been developed for as long as Chinese democracy was being recorded. The difference is Axl Rose didn't take a bunch of his fans' money in the process. That's literally the name of the game here. We're talking about a $48,000 pack of hypothetical spaceships. By the way, it started off costing $27,000. Now it costs $48,000. Nothing has really meaningfully been added to it, just the promise of more ships. You can't even get access to it unless you're already a wing commander or higher level backer, so you would have had to have put $10,000 into the game. So the real price of the Legatus pack is more like $58,000. It's absurd, but that's Star Citizen, isn't it? At number 9, Linus Tech Tips Solid Gold Xbox Controller. Back in 2021, the popular tech-focused YouTube channel came up with this thing in an attempt to go viral. The views didn't exactly come pouring in, but the actual controller wasn't just some piece of lazy clickbait. It's the real deal. It's not gold paint. It's not even gold-plated. It is a solid gold shell on an Xbox controller, 1.5 kilograms of 18-karat gold made by a Canadian gold and jewelry house called Expert Casting. Actually putting this thing together was a laborious and difficult process, which they go into in great detail in a 3-part video series hosted on the channel. And the final price of this ostentatious device ended up being about $87,500, so slightly cheaper than an Xbox Elite controller. Of course, sarcasm, just in case you think that I'm stupid. I'm not stupid, I assure you. My IQ is at least in the 80s. Normally, I wouldn't bring up one of these one-off YouTube gimmicks, but in this case, the solid gold controller is actually for sale, at least as of 2022. He still had it. He was looking for a buyer. So if you've got $100,000 burning a hole in your wallet, and you absolutely must have an actually solid gold controller that will, well, probably short-circuit because gold is highly conductive, then hey, this thing can be yours. Most likely, they just melted the gold down and got rid of the rest. But as far as everyone knows, it's still in storage somewhere waiting for a modern-day gold member to complete their collection. And number 8 is the Threadripper Pro 9995WX96 core AI workstation PC. The Steam Machine is the hot topic item currently for PC gamers on what amounts to a budget in our current part-starved epoch. Good luck actually getting one, though. To even get the chance to buy them, you gotta join a raffle and wait for your number to get called. Just trying to get a Steam Machine is a pain. This monstrosity of a PC is just sitting on Amazon ready to buy, though, and it could be shipped to your home in a matter of days. Sure, the price difference is noticeable. The Steam Machine costs $1,428 at most, while this goes for, well, let's just see here, $83,499. Bit of a difference there. But just look at what you're getting for the price. 16 terabytes of SSDs, a Threadripper Pro CPU, and not one, not two, but 3 top-of-the-line NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs. This thing is the ultimate overkill in a case. It is not a gaming PC. It is a workstation for AutoCAD, for servers, for AI stuff. But if you're a lunatic with too much money to burn, go ahead, you can buy it. I guess it's not even optimized for gaming. The Blackwell GPUs are extremely powerful, but they're optimized for AI functions, that type of stuff, not for playing games. And having 3 of them strung together isn't actually going to improve performance that much. It's not a multiplayer, it's more of a capacity thing. When you're running models, things stack up pretty quick. But to get the most performance out of this beast, you're not going to be able to power it with a standard 120-volt plug. You need a 240-volt plug installed just to get this thing running at max capacity. It's a beast of a machine, no matter how you look at it. If you're getting it for gaming, it's so far beyond overkill, it actually circles around to being underpowered for the price. It's almost 80 times more expensive than the Steam machine, but you are not going to see 80 times the performance. Period. Don't even think about it. It will be better than a Steam machine, don't get me wrong. Even though it's not optimized for gaming, it absolutely will kill the Steam machine. It's not going to be 80 times better than the Steam machine. And number 7 is the God of War Ares Diamond Edition mouse. Your options are you could get the workstation PC with 3 Blackwell GPUs that are worth their weight in gold right now, or you could throw an extra $10,000 or so on top of that price and get a mouse. A really ugly, cheap-looking mouse with some diamonds glued to the front. Look at this monstrosity when it was revealed back in April of 2021. An absurdly expensive, but very cheap-looking mouse that looks like something you'd find in a dollar bin. I just cannot believe this thing exists, and that it apparently is valued at $100K. And they made 50 of these things, actually expecting people to buy it? It literally looks like a cheap mouse with holes drilled into it, paint on it, with $999,999 worth of diamonds glued onto it. It looks like garbage. It might be the ultimate example of gaudy crap marketed to gamers, but it's like, I mean, I hesitate to say it's 15 years too late. It's, I don't know. The value of this is in the diamonds. And I don't know if that's $100,000 worth of diamonds. I don't know what $100,000 worth of diamonds is. The only positive thing I can say about this thing is that the production company Final Mouse are apparently still in business. They didn't fold after dumping money into a blatantly idiotic stunt like this. So that's something, at least. Their modern mouses aren't much better in the looks department, and they're pretty overpriced, but like $200 overpriced, not mortgage level overpriced. And number 6 is the F1 driving simulator. I've seen some pretty expensive simulator setups, but as far as commercially available stuff that exists outside of a NASA testing lab, these officially licensed Formula 1 sims are the priciest thing I could find. They're literally made for drivers and teams in an official race capacity, but they're also available for fans and race enthusiasts with deep pockets. Very deep. These are $122,884. At least they actually look like you're getting your money's worth because they've got an actual car frame mounted on hydraulics, a curved screen, and to actually make it gaming related, they come packed with the newest official F1 racing game. It's a legitimately impressive device that looks like it probably would be fun as hell to try, but not to buy. Like, if I got the opportunity to jump into one of these things, whoa, I'd do it instantly. I cannot imagine owning one though. Why? Where would you store it? Like, maybe throw some pillows in there and make the ultimate race car bed, but I need more than it's like driving to justify that kind of, like, I have a car, like a real car. And number 5 is Grid 2 Mono Edition. Sticking to the car theme, we got the most expensive collector's edition ever made. Goes back to 2013, so seems like somebody could have surpassed it by now, but nothing real has. The Mono Edition of Grid 2 from Codemasters costs a whopping $190,000. Comes with a copy of a game, a PlayStation 3, a tour of the BAC car factory, and Grid 2 Mono Edition branded helmet and full race suit, and a car. The BAC Mono dressed up in Grid 2 branding. Actually, kinda cool. There have been more expensive special editions that have popped up over the years, like the $1 million Dying Light special edition, or the $1 million pack for Saints Row 4, the absurd $10 million pack for Dying Light the Beast, but nobody bought those. They were gimmicks, they were jokes, they were not meant to be taken seriously. With Grid 2, it is actually possible somebody did buy this thing. It's rumored that Deadmau5 did, even if it's not true. Just the fact there are rumors anyone actually purchased it makes it much more plausible than those other ones I mentioned. So while those may be bigger, this is probably the most expensive that has maybe actually been sold, at least as far as I can tell. I mean, that sounds like a stupid amount of money, but I almost think I have to say I think it's worth it. You go to the Briggs Automotive Company and you get a mono. I don't know how to get a mono. I mean, I don't have that kind of money, but that would probably be the easiest way to get one. And number 4 was the Nintendo PlayStation. The Super NES CD-ROM was meant to be an expanded version of the Super Nintendo, developed in partnership between Nintendo, Sony, and Philips. Essentially meant to be an updated version of the Famicom disk system, but of course the project was never meant to be. The partnership fell through, but apparently a few hundred prototypes of the system were produced. Right now, only 2 are known to have existed, and 1 has actually been found. It's the holy grail of prototype units, the brief crossover between 2 gaming giants, and something fans of Nintendo and Sony would both be fascinated with, an essential piece of gaming history. That history, or providence as it's referred to in collector circles, on top of it, the incredible rarity is what makes it so valuable. In 2020, it was put up for auction and sold for $360,000, which, if you're a ham, actually involves Xbox in this whole thing, the Xbox 360. But the founder of Pets.com is who bought it, which is great. One of the key players in the .com bubble. He made out like a bandit, though, and he apparently has a pretty extensive video game collection. Now, there have been a lot of other video game bric-a-brac that sold for more at auction, but that kind of stuff is a lot more suspect. A sealed copy of Mario 3 selling for $3 million. One of the most common, easy-obtained games on the NES sold for 8 times as much as one of the rarest and most noteworthy pieces of gaming history ever. Clearly, that market cannot be trusted. Just rich buddies passing games to each other to drive people to get all their worthless games graded at premium prices. You can't trust it as an actual measuring stick for value. Mario 3 is not worth $3 million. The Nintendo PlayStation is worth probably more than it sold for also. And number 3 is the Nintendo Wii Supreme. UK-based designer Stuart Hughes' whole gimmick was taking electronics and covering them in gold and diamonds. Or maybe he was a fraud. Apparently in 2011, the news story spread about Hughes selling an $8 million gold-plated yacht, which was proven to be both completely ridiculous. How do you make a boat out of gold? It would obviously sink like a stone. Also, completely fabricated. Hughes made the damn story up and stole the pictures from somebody else's website. He also might be dead, and his website throws up warnings if you try to access it, so take the entire story with a massive grain of salt. Suppose this thing did exist, though, and what we're looking at here is a Nintendo Wii made entirely out of gold and diamonds, with a price tag of $483,883 or $364,000 depending on who you ask. 88 ounces of gold, it's solid 22 karat, 78 tiny little diamonds embedded in the front buttons. The value of the materials alone amounted to around $200,000 at the time, and building one of these things took like 6 months, presuming they ever existed. There was also a solid gold PS3 floating around, the same outfit going for $320,000 a pop, again assuming these were ever made. Looking it up, there's no physical evidence that any of them were. We've seen the Queen's Wii, which was gold-plated. It's been up for sale a few times, but never one of these things. The more I look into it, the more I'm inclined to think it might have been made up, but hey, if any of you internet sleuths out there find anything, let us know in the comments. And number 2 is the Jupiter PC from Zeus Computer. This international journey of gaming luxury has taken us to France, to the UK, Canada, all over the US, but this particular piece of conspicuous opulence comes from the land of the rising sun. I've seen a lot of gold-covered tchotchkes on this journey, but this one is platinum-covered, and it's the only platinum-covered thing I've ever seen. They just had to one-up everybody else in there with the rare metals and stuff. What's next? Osmium? Palladium? Unobtainium? This thing's even covered in diamonds, in constellation patterns, just to really drive home how needlessly ostentatious it is. Back in 2008, when this thing was first announced, it sold for 80 million yen or $750,000, but the value of the yen has fallen since, so that converts to about $491,000, a pretty major drop in value, but it's also been about 20 years. But either way, this thing's horribly overpriced and needlessly gaudy. Pretty underpowered, too. And I mean for 2008. A GeForce 8400 GS, entry-level graphics for 2008. So if you wanted to run Crysis with this, sorry pal, you're shit out of luck. At least the people who made this thing still have a website, about as stereotypically 2000s internet as you can get, but still exists. And finally, at number 1, it's Planet Calypso, the Entropia universe, which bills itself as the largest virtual MMO with a real cash economy. Not sure that gets me really hyped just to hear those words. This idiotic situation always pops up. Someone bought a planet in a game for $6 million to pay-to-earn virtual ownership gold race that came and went fast, so you can say non-fungible token. Here's the basics. Some lunatic named Martin Bialis, the CEO CEO of Sea Virtual Worlds, which I'm not convinced ever actually existed, purchased the planet from Entropa Universe, which got in early and hard on the digital land grab that was the pay-to-earn movement. As far as I can tell, $6 million was actually exchanged for the ownership of the planet in this game. It was apparently going to be used to create a Michael Jackson MMO. Don't know. Don't want to know. I guess it was going to be its own game, but also based on the Entropa universe. I don't know. It's insane. Obviously, the MJ MMO never came to pass, but Entropa universe is still inexplicably trucking along. The Reddit gets maybe one post every 5 days, and the game's Steam player count maxed out at 287 players. But there's people playing it. Good God, there's people playing it. I do have a quick bonus for you, by the way. For the gamer who has literally everything, I present to you Gabe Newell's yacht, which he's basically giving away for just $106 million. Pocket change, really. Who doesn't have $106 million lying around for a super yacht or two? Maybe Tim Sweeney can buy it and tell Gabe how he mismanaged it while simultaneously poking holes in the bottom and sinking it. I mean, that man's never been afraid to waste millions of dollars on pointless endeavors that ultimately end up benefiting Valve anyway. So what's another $106 million? What do you think? Leave us a comment. Let us know. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. So click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications. And as always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. Join the 1% Club with the button below. That's how you get the Falcon Show exclusively every weekend. We'll see you next time right here on Game Ranks.